connecting these different sports associations, but likewise intra-corporate matters should be resolved from this level.
Yes.
Now, what POC leaders and NSA's leaders, those who are not away, I mean, these are the ones who are kind of lording it over, would always say, hey, Philippine government, stay away from us.
We're autonomous.
Yeah, we're autonomous. Yeah. I don't think they do understand what autonomous is. That's not absolute. You know, if they would like to go ahead and cry out that they are beyond the arms of the government, then they should not be here. The moment that they registered, already the government has intervened. Why? They're under SEC rules and regulations. Yes. The moment that fund fusion from the government has been accepted by them, already there is government intervention. Yes. And more so with POC. Now, I mean, they get athletes from all of these NSAs. They represent the Republic of the Philippines. They represent citizens of the Republic of the Philippines. Now, you tell me, no government intervention? No way, Jose. I don't think they do understand. What they're doing is they're trying to subjectively select what they want to apply.
Why?
For obvious reasons. Self-serving. Something is in there. Hey, this is my turf. Do not transgress it.
Okay.
And you get down to the bottom line, buddy. I mean, I'm no fool. I mean, these people are not there serving or doing something because if they're really doing it, we shouldn't have any problems like this. They're not there to just play footsies. There is a whole bottom line there. Yes. Many a times people, they fight over what? Power and money.
Yes.
Power and funding. Now, the problem today, in fact, you find out from this Mr. Richie Garcia, where has he gone as far as auditing?
Mr. Garcia is
a president of appointed of
the Philippine Sports Commission.
Yes.
Chairman.
In fact, if I remember, what I thought was so appalling when he made a statement that all NSAs who failed to make an accounting or liquidation will now be given amnesty. Can you believe that? Now, if lawmakers have heard it, I mean, he should be one of those guys who should be sued. That's government money.
Of course.
What right does he have
to give amnesty to these people? That's our money.
Yes, as a taxpayer, I mean, you don't have the right to enter into any agreement using government funds.
Now, let's talk
the guy is clueless. That's an example of this.
Before we go to this interrelationship between the three, let's talk about the NSAs. Yes. So, if I'm an NSA and I want to compete overseas in, let's say, an IOC, International Olympic Committee, recognized event, then I have to go to the POC. Otherwise, I don't have to go to the POC.
You don't have to go to your NSA.
I don't even have to go to the NSA.
Yes, your NSA, if you have to join one of those IOC sanctions.
Let's say I'm a swimmer and I want to compete next year.
Olympic Games, yes. Now, definitely this NSA will have tryouts. And you see, buddy, these tryouts, assuming swimmer A is not a member of PASA, but he's got the best record and can be a great potential for a medal in the Olympic Games. Now, you tell me. Now, I think the government should really step in. I think NSA should be in the right mind and POC to go ahead and give membership to this person and represent the country. But they're not doing that. They demoralize, they destroy athletes and swimmers who've got the potential.
Let's talk about PASA, Philippine Amateur Swimming Association. Yes. What's going on? I mean, you were a swimmer before, and you were a very, accomplished swimmer. Tell us about your background.
Yes. During the early 70s, PASA, Philippine Amateur Swimming Association, was governed by Colonel Deborah. All the outstanding swimmers who deserve recognition and who deserve to represent the Philippines were right there. There was never any conflict. We would have monthly competitions. We would have monthly representations to other countries. There would be a lot of incentives. We never had this. This is so foreign to me.
What is wrong with PASA now?
Leadership. Okay. The guy is illegitimate.
You're talking about Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Joseph has to step down. Absolutely, the guy can carry out. I mean, he's living in a dream.
What are some examples of his inefficiency, let's say, in running PASA?
Number one, Arafura Games. If you remember Lauren Dale, this girl placed first, was awarded a gold medal from the Republic of the Philippines, Lauren Dale. Did you know what happened to her, buddy? After she stepped down from the victory stand, Mark Joseph called up the coordinators of the Arafura and told them, strip her off the medal.
When did this happen?
Sometime years ago, about 4 or 3 years ago.
I understand that there is this new an issue lately, an incident that happened, I think May this year, and I believe that we even have a video of someone, it's not a video, but it's an audio testimony of someone based, he's a journalist, based in Australia, in Sydney, and he has something to tell us about what Mr. Joseph did in the Arafura game.
Okay.
So, do you think we can play that video now?
All right, that would be great. I heard.
Thank you, buddy, for inviting me to speak to you and your viewers. I'm really honored. My name is Mike Ngangan. I'm a Filipino-Australian based in Sydney, Australia. Plus, I am the publisher and editor-in-chief of Palo de Marca magazine. Also, I'm a member of the Foreign Correspondents Association and a media professional accredited by the Australian Attorney General's Office. I'd like to narrate a very tragic incident that happened at the Arafura Games in Darwin, Northern Territory back in May 2011. This involved the Philippine swimming team headed by former Senator Nicky Cosateng and Coach Susan Papa against Mark Joseph, the president of the Philippine Amateur Swimming Association. In that incident, Mark Joseph went out of his way to directly undermine the Philippine team by repeatedly telling the officials of the Arafura Games that the Pinoys did not have the right to compete because they were not official members of the Philippine Amateur Swimming Association. I'd like to stress, however, that Mark Joseph, as the Philippine Amateur Swimming Association president, he had no right to get involved in this affair because the Arafura Games are not an official International Olympic Committee event and therefore do not fall under the jurisdiction of the Philippine Amateur Swimming Association or the Philippine Olympic Committee. Because of the pressures applied by Mark Joseph, the organizers of the Arafura Games denied the Filipinos the right to compete in the finals of the event, despite the fact they had to compete and that they competed and had qualified for it. Mark Joseph prevented young Filipino swimmers from competing and bringing honor to their country. The sad incident in Darwin is just one of many instances where Mark Joseph's dictatorial and tyrannical style has undermined the interest of Philippine swimming. Aside from this, there are now well-documented cases filed against him for graft and corruption in sports. Mark Joseph should resign as president of the Philippine Amateur Swimming Association for the good of the sports and the Filipino athletes. If he refuses to relinquish his post, I have no option or choice but to bring these issues against him to not only to the attention of my colleagues in the international press, but directly to the International Olympic Committee and the Fédération Internationale des Nations, or FINA, the international sporting body in charge of swimming. During my
Attorney.
That's bravo for that journalist. You know what? I would like to be the first one to stand behind him and rally for that guy to step down, Mark Joseph. In fact, you know what, buddy? Let me take this opportunity. Mr. Cujuanco should hear that. Why? Because Mark Joseph even sits in the POC. That should be sufficient ground to give him a disciplinary action.
Yes,
and the guy should step down, or even both of them should step down, just to give peace, just to restore order in this swimming or in the sports.
And what Mike Angan was saying is that kind of was similar to the incident you mentioned.
This is a
years
repeat
ago.
history.
Yeah.
I was telling a story which was, what about, 3 years ago?
Yes.
It's a repeat history.
In the same games,
yes.
in the same country. And
the same iron fist, the same intimidation that this Mark Joseph. You know what? I do not understand the kind of heart this guy has. Now, this is a travesty in sports. He should not, and he does not belong in this field.
Does Mr. Joseph have any legal grounding when he pressures, according to what Mr. Angan said, does he have any legal ground to actually pressure the organizers of the Arafura Games not to let the Filipinos?
He does not. 2 years ago, when he did the same thing, now you will notice that he had done this many times. When he did the same thing in Malaysia and Singapore, and this organizers from Malaysia so happened faxed me the statement made by Mark Joseph. And that statement was to the effect, he was intimidating the swimmers to not participate, and when he did not get any success, he told the organizers that these Filipino swimmers are fake. They are carrying fake passports.